Welcome to the edition of the Precision Fly of the Week. Today we're going to tie a little pattern called the Coachman Caddis. Fantastic little dry fly pattern that works really well for cutthroats and brook trout. Hook I got in the vise is a Hanak 310, size 14. I'm using Semperfli 12/0 nano silk in white. Start your thread, take it to roughly about the bend. First material we're going to tie in is red holographic tinsel. We're going to tie it down to roughly about halfway on the bend, and then bring your thread up to the tie-in point. Next, take the tinsel and wind it forward up to the thread. And then tie it off. Next thing I like to do is add a little bit of Solarez bone dry to help protect the tinsel. This way this pattern will withstand several trout. Trout do have sharp little tiny teeth, and they will shred through the tinsel after a couple. I'm going to reposition the hook now. Next material we're going to tie in is some peacock herl. Take roughly 2 to 4 strands of peacock herl depending on the size of the hook you're using. I'm going to trim off the very tip. It's the most brittle part of the herl. And then tie it in right after that tinsel. This little step I like to do to make the herl a little bit more durable is I'm going to wind the herl around the nano silk. And then begin wrapping it forward to build up a big bushy thorax area. And be careful when you tie off the herl. Nano silk is a very strong thread, so you can easily cut through it before you completely tie it off. And then trim off the excess. So with this pattern right here, we're going to tie in an elk hair wing next, and then wrap a little bit of dry fly hackle. The tag end right here with the red tinsel is going to end up sitting in the surface fill, and that'll be the trigger for the trout. I used this fly quite a bit on a little stretch up in the Au Sable River up in Michigan, where there's approximately about a mile and a half stretch where there's just a ton of brook trout. And when I went up there last, this was the only fly I used for that entire stretch. Caught a lot of fish with it. Additionally, it works really well in Colorado, in the alpine lakes, in the mountain streams up there for cutthroats also. You can also change out the color of that tinsel, purple, blue, green. Tie it in a couple different colors, give it a try. Let me know which one worked best for you. So we tied in the elk hair. Don't worry if it splays too much, we get trim off. And then we're going to cut it flush, straight across here to make a little head similar to like an elk hair caddis. And then do a couple more tight wraps to make sure everything's secure. Next we're going to tie in a small piece of weighty dry fly hackle. You can use white, ginger, grizzly. Now I'm going to go back here, and then any part of the wing that splayed too much, I'm just going to go in there and trim. and then begin your wraps. Then once you get the hackle up towards the head of the fly, go ahead and just tie it off. And then before I trim that, what I'm going to do is add a little bit of Solarez. Zap it with my light. Since I'm using white thread here, I'm going to color it with some red marker. And with any of these type of flies that have like elk hair or hackle or anything up there towards the eye, I found it easiest just to use a half hitch tool and run a series of half hitches through there versus using a whip finish tool. Now just go back in and trim off the thread, and now we're going to snip the hackle. There you have it. Coachman Caddis. Pretty easy to tie. Let me know how it works for you. Thanks for watching.